views or worse, sales from your listings. I know exactly what that's like because I've been there too. The good news, I've since made well over $100,000 net profit reselling used clothes since those first days of struggling. And I can tell you this, it's probably not your photos, your price, or even the item itself. It's another thing entirely. The best part, with just a few small tweaks, you can turn slow movers into fast sales. I've helped hundreds of resellers unlock faster sales, and what I've learned is this: buyers search specifically, not just vague searches. They use words to describe what it is that they want. And in this video, I'll show you the 4 keyword types that every used clothing reseller needs to use. Once you know how to combine these, buyers will actually find your listings, click, and buy without you having to lower your prices or wait months for a sale. Let's discuss. All right, so you are frustrated with slow sales, getting no views on listings. We're gonna go ahead and get that fixed here. These are simple tweaks that you could go ahead and make today in your listings and start seeing everything turn around and sales start to come in. I've heard from so many viewers just like you, members inside of my Empowered Reseller membership program, who have taken these tips of what I'm about to share with you, made some small changes, and have had sales turn around, even been able to get more money for the same exact items that have been sitting there not selling for months. Now, I do have a free keywords list. You're gonna find that down in the description below this video, but we're gonna go ahead and jump right into that first type of keyword that you need if you want to start getting in front of the right buyers and bringing in sales. Let's get started. All right, the first type of keyword to be successful, and these are not in any particular order, but this first one that we're going to talk about is the silhouette or shape of the item. And I'm going to give you some examples of what I mean by this and show you how to be able to incorporate these in your listing, because these words, they're how your buyers find the items that they're looking for. They're not just searching for a black tank top. They're using specific words. So the listing that you're looking at here is what is called a peplum hem. That gives that shape where it flares out at the waist. That's the very trendy look and one that shoppers are searching for. This is a sold item on Poshmark from the brand BB. It's also got this really cute little studs. This tank top sold for $43. When you can incorporate specific keywords, for example, peplum, you're going to be able to get more money and have faster sales because your listings won't just be lost in a sea of other black shirts. This is another peplum. Hopefully you can see that peplum hem flares slightly over the top of pants. This one is a polka dot tank top from Talbot's, and it went for $40. And as you might expect, every piece of clothing item is going to have different silhouette or shape keywords to go along with them. Now, this is a pair of pants, what is known as cigarette pants. These are very straight through the leg, through the thigh, as well as the lower leg. This is from the brand Cocopology brand. Here's the tag, and it went for $40. A quick look at another pair of cigarette pants. These are from the Limited, and you can see how they're a little bit wider at the cuff opening than just a pair of skinny jeans. They're gonna give more room in that lower leg. This pair from the Limited went for $40. Dresses are another category of item where these shape or silhouette keywords really come into play because shoppers aren't just shopping for a dress. They're usually shopping for a specific shape. An example here with dresses, this is a tent dress. You can see how loose this is, basically from the armpit down. This is extremely loose, a lot flared. If you were to take the bottom of dress and pull it out, it would be very wide. This is from a brand that is called Intro. There is the tag for you. This one went for $39. And these shape keywords also come into play in accessories. This is a doctor's bag from a brand that is called the Clever Carriage Company. This brand makes some really unique fun items. This one also happens to be tapestry. Now, with the doctor's bag or doctor's satchel, that's usually a larger size bag. This type of bag has a frame top and it really holds its shape when it opens up. This bag went for $93. Quick look at some of the other Clever Carriage Company items that are selling right now. Like I said, these are very unique, very fun items. Lots of different patterns, lots of different colors, and all of the prices on these are amazing. There's a sample of what the tag looks like. It's a pretty plain looking tag, so don't pass these by. Shoes are another category of item where there are so many different shapes of shoes. It's also one where buyers aren't just searching for shoes. They're usually looking for a specific type of shoe. And I can spend a lot of time here going through all different types of shoes. An example where the seller called out the style. This is a Dorsey style shoe from J. Crew. What that means is it has cutouts on the side. Sometimes there will only be one cutout, for example, maybe on the inside or the instep. And sometimes the cutout will be on both sides, like the pair that you're looking at here. Now, this pair from J. Crew, you can see the wear on the bottom there. It went for $49. All right, so that number one, silhouette and shapes. There are so many different terms to know there depending on what type of item it is that you're working with. Now, all of these different types of keywords that I'm covering in this video today are actually included on all of my posters. I'm going to link to that somewhere on your screen as well as down in the description. But that gets you all of the keywords at your fingertips to be able to type up listings in a matter of seconds. Now, in addition to those silhouette and shape keywords, the second type of keyword that you need in your listings are features, those little details of your items. Some examples here. This is a dress from J. McLaughlin. It's an extra small, by the way, but it has what is called an exposed zipper. So you can see that this zipper is not hidden. It is very visible. It is part of the style and a feature that buyers are searching for. Now, this dress, again, is size extra small, sold for $48. Another example of a feature. This is a dress that has scallop trim lace on it. So rather than just saying lace, they did call out that scalloped edge. There's a closer up look, and this dress from Betsy Johnson went for $70. Another example of what I would call a feature is smocking. Now, with this dress, it's a little bit harder to see. You can see at the waist, it's cinched in a little bit there. Show you a little bit closer what smocking actually is. This dress from Joy went for $60. And a closer look at that smocking is often in bodices, often in waist dresses like what you just saw, but it can also be at the top of skirts. The smocking, so this is what it looks like on the inside, and you can see the stitching there, actually creates kind of an elastic where that's very stretchy. This skirt from a brand called Buru, not quite sure if I'm saying that correctly, but this one sold for $40. Now, much like those silhouettes and shapes, the features are very much going to depend on the type of item that you have. When it comes to shoes, an example of features are lug soles. These are really trendy right now. This is a pair of lower value Airwalk when it was sold at the Payless Shoe Source store. There's the tag on the inside of those shoes. And that lug sole is just a very aggressive trend. So you can see that tread through the sole as well as the heel. And this pair of shoes went for $40. So we've hit on silhouettes and shapes as well as features. Now, the third type of keyword to use in your listings are the type of fabric. Now, I know it's easy to go just off of the material type. If it's silk, cotton, linen. Yes, those are important. And yes, there's certain materials that sell better than others. There's also fabrics that are also in demand. Fabrics and materials are two different things. Fabrics are how those different materials are put together, how they're woven or how they're knit. You can think of it as the thing that gives the material its particular texture. A few examples for you here with materials that are trending. One of them is terry cloth material. This is much like your bath towel. It's a fuzzy, looped fabric. And this is one that is common in older items, especially Y2K era items. Now, the item that you're looking at is a pair of pants, just pants, not the set, from Juicy Couture. This one sold for $110 just for these pants. Boucle is another example of a trending fabric. This is a blazer from Zara that went for $45. Now, with boucle, it's a looped fabric that has a bumpy texture to it. If it's got bumps, it's not just tweed. That is boucle. And this one gives a really good example with the contrasting color of that different texture. And you can see just how bumpy it is. It's not even across this whole piece. There's bigger bumps, there's smaller bumps. It's not the technical term, but you get the idea. And you probably know what corduroy is, but I'm going to take this a step further and give you another term. For those bigger, chunkier corduroy, that is known as wide wale corduroy, like you're seeing here in the title. What you're looking at is a pair of pants from Levi's. You can see just how wide the wale, how wide those corduroy stripes are. And this pair of pants went for $65. This look is very much in, by the way. You can see that even has a few stains there. So many different fabrics here that I want to point out. Now, this is a super fun dress from Cynthia Rowley. And this one's got a huge rosette floral flower there at the top. And organza is perfect for this because it holds its shape. You can see the flower. You can also see how the shape of this dress holds really well. Definitely a unique piece. This one went for $269, but it is new with the tags. Another fabric example for you, jacquard. Now this one, you can see jacquard in the title, but you can also see that they hit on the silhouette keywords, peplum as well as hourglass. With jacquard, this is a weaving technique. It usually has a little bit of shine to it. There's all kinds of different patterns that can be created with a jacquard fabric. One of those is damask. I've got it all covered in my fabric guide if you want to dive further into these different types of fabrics. This vintage piece from Maggie London went for $50. All right, so we've got silhouettes and shapes, features, and fabrics. That brings me to the fourth type of keyword to include in your listing. This is the best one of all, the funnest. And like those fabric keywords, this is a keyword type that a lot of resellers overlook. And this has to do with the look, the style, aesthetic of the item. That is a cardigan sweater, very colorful block design, those smiley faces on it. This one, they used the keyword kid core as well as teacher core. You can see down here in the description is where they have incorporated those keywords. So of course the title is a good place, but also make use of your description, whichever platform you are on. So you see how they've called out snails and mushrooms and hearts, all the different things that are on that cardigan sweater, but you've also called out kid core, clown core, feature core. All of those are listed out there. So somebody who is shopping for that particular style, that look, this listing is going to come up. It's from a brand called Delia's, or some people say Delia's. That one didn't have a tag, but this one does. This one does have a smocked waist like we talked about earlier. And I do want to point out while we're here that it also has a bubble hem. Bubble hem would fall under those shapes or features that we talked about earlier. This is a beautiful cardigan sweater where they used a keyword mermaid core. Now you're seeing in the title they have mermaid core, the look, overall aesthetic of this sweater, the color, they have the feature that it's a tie, and then the cardigan, that would be the silhouette or shape. They don't have a huge list of style keywords. They pretty much just stuck with mermaid as well as coquette there in the style tags. That's another place to stick in those keywords. This is from a dress called Michael or Michelle. It is a made in the USA brand. There's the tag. Eclectic Grandpa is another example of one of these aesthetic types of keywords, one of these style keywords. This is a men's sweater, a mohair sweater from the brand Obey, and it went for $75. And with this one, they did include a little list in the description of those keywords. You don't need to go overboard, just a few good ones will work. They've got comfy, skater, emo, that eclectic grandpa keyword, grunge, bloke core, bohemian, and streetwear. All of those fit this sweater really well. I would suggest not going over more than 10 or 12. Usually 3 to 5 keywords is plenty enough. Another style example would be what is called prey. Now, my French is not best, but I think that is how you say it. Another term would be ski. These are items that have that wintry ski resort look. This is item from Top Figure, and I'm also going to point out that they put in the pattern of this, which is Fair Isle. That's another term that I did not get to in this video. I'm going to throw that in as a bonus type of keyword to include along with the 4 that we covered. There's the Tommy Hilfiger tag, and this went for $78. Those 4 keywords, silhouette, features, fabric, and style, are the secret to getting your items seen fast and sold fast. Next time you list, use at least one from each of these categories and watch the difference it makes in your traffic and your sales. And if you want more help with those style, aesthetic-based keywords, then you're gonna wanna watch the video that's up next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.